Today we're going to be looking at Lesson 49, page 220, 221. Make sure that you have your grammar book open and follow along with me from starting at Learn. The titles of written works are set off in special ways. Titles of books, magazines, movies, and newspapers are set off by italics in printed material. When you write by hand, underline these titles. So once again, if you are typing something in Notability, or if you're going to turn in an essay that is typed, it needs to be in italics. But if it is handwritten, as in the end of grade test is going to be handwritten, you're going to have it underlined for the titles. So an example, if it is printed as in this is going to be on a computer, you're going to have it in italics for a newspaper, the Chicago Tribune. And if it's handwritten, you're just going to underline it. Same thing. This is a magazine. You're going to write it or put it in italics if you are typing, or you're going to just underline it if you're writing. Next, the titles of short stories, book chapters, articles, songs, and most poems are set off by quotation marks. All of these are smaller works. A short story, a chapter within a book, an article within a newspaper, a song, or a small poem, they are all set off by quotation marks. So Aladdin and the Magic Lamp, you can see your quotation marks. So short stories, a chapter in the book, magazine article, song, and a poem. All right. Next, it says, notice that the first word in each important word in the titles begin with a capital letter. So as you see here, what I heard, apple, barrel. Okay. But words such as a, and, as, at, for, in, of, the, and to are not capitalized unless they're the first or last word in the title. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a little bit of our practice. Make sure you can see everything. So for the first one, it says Around the World in 80 Days. That's a book. So we know if it is a book, then referring to the very top. So we're going to make sure that we capitalize each title correctly. It says then underline or add quotation marks to set off the title. The words in parentheses tell what each title is. So we're looking at Around the World in 80 Days. We're going to start off with the capital A and around. And then as we remember, the is not going to be capitalized. And then world. In, not capitalized. 80 days. All right. Next, you're looking at a magazine called Cricket. So once again, we're looking at a magazine. Oh, I'm sorry. We did not underline. Because this is written and this is a book, which is part of that, you need to make sure that the whole thing is underlined properly. Because we're not typing, we cannot make it italics, so we must underline it to show that it is a book. Now, number 2, cricket. We need to have it capitalized. And as I said before, because it's a magazine, it needs to be underlined. Next is a magazine article. So because it's a magazine article, we need to have quotations around expectations. expectations. And then quotations around expectations. Next we have a poem. Referring back to our information, a poem, it's called Casey at the Bat. Casey needs to be capitalized. At and the, remember, not capitalized. And bat needs to be, B needs to be capitalized. And then once again, quotations. And then at the bottom, we have The Circus Comes to Town. This is a chapter in a book. So once again, we're going to put this in the quotation marks. Now, the is capitals because it is the first, remember, it is the first or last word in the title has to be capitalized. So, the needs to be capitalized. Circus comes. To is not capitalized, and then town is capitalized. All right. Continue practicing with this on the next page. You are going to continue practice with 6 through 10. Making sure that you're looking at what's underlined. That tells you to look back at your lesson here, and you could refer back to this to decide how it needs to be represented, either in quotation marks or underlined. Next, let's look at the second part of your homework in section B. It says, write each sentence correctly, capitalize each title, then underline or add quotation marks to set off the title. So, once again, we're looking at The Midnight Fox is anything but a boring book. It tells you that it's a book, so we know then that we have to capitalize and underline. So, we know that because it is the first letter, so it must be capitalized. So, The Midnight and then Fox. And we're going to underline the whole thing because it is a book. Is anything but boring, but a boring book. Continue on the rest of the page. You're going to have 1 through 7 is to finish your homework. So 2 through 7 still needs to be complete. Make sure, once again, you set things off in quotation marks if it is a short work like an article or a book chapter, but then if it's the complete work like the name of a newspaper or the name of the book, that has to be underlined. All right, good luck.